welcome guest. Spewing toxic waste into our planet's pristine lakes is devastating. Exploiting children to toil away in sweatshops is horrifying. And letting greedy, thieving executives get away with financial fraud is frightening. Many of us seek to battle these wrongs by participating in charity work. We either give our money or we volunteer and give our time. Some of us may also choose to buy products manufactured by companies who are doing the right thing. And those are two incredible ways to battle wrongful behavior by corporations. But there is one piece that we as Canadians, for the most part, are still missing out on. And so my purpose today is to shed some light on what that is, and also to dispel one of the greatest myths of investing while I do that. I will also provide you with some concrete actions you can take right now, and also provide you with an opportunity to learn more through a resource that has been created for you. So today, when most people think of investing for good, they think, am I doing a charity? Am I going to sacrifice returns? Is it possible that most companies aren't doing good, so my selection of investments is so small that there isn't that much choice, and therefore I'm sacrificing the ability to diversify. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. The fact is that investing for good can actually mean that you can achieve your financial goals a lot faster than if you didn't invest for good. Let me illustrate with an example. Who here has heard of the BP oil spill? Or I should ask, who hasn't heard of the BP oil spill? 2010, in the Gulf of Mexico, there was an explosion in an offshore rig, and it resulted in oil spewing from the bottom of the ocean for 87 days straight. Now, can you imagine if you were an investor in that company? In the first 50 days of that spill, the price of the stock went down by more than 50%. And a lot of you may be thinking, I don't invest in stocks, so I wasn't impacted. But the truth of the matter is, if we're invested in mutual funds, which most of us are by default through our work plans or otherwise, then unless you've made a conscious choice not to invest in companies that are exposed to these types of risks, you're automatically invested in these types of companies, and you're automatically taking on a greater level of risk. So that's the myth I want to dispel. You don't, by focusing on the environment, by focusing on social good, and by focusing on good governance, you actually reduce your investment risk. You don't increase it. And by reducing your investment risk, it allows you to get to your financial dreams a lot faster. So I'll close off with some actions you can take. So if you're a new investor, maybe you're just building up your portfolio and you have under $50,000 accumulated, then there are some great mutual funds you can look at right now when you go home. And the leading providers of socially responsible investments are IA Clarington, NEI, and BlackRock. And you may not remember those names, so just stay tuned for for the resource that I'm going to mention. If by any chance you are a more seasoned investor and you've accumulated more than $50,000 of assets, you now have access to some of the top money managers in Canada that previously, even 5 years ago, would have only been available to somebody with a portfolio of more than $500,000. This is something that's new in Canada, and these portfolio managers have integrated the socially responsible philosophy with their portfolio management techniques. So it's fully integrated, and it gives you an opportunity to not only do the right thing for the planet, but also reduce your investment risk and get to your investment goals that much faster. And I mean, if you sleep at night better because of it, I don't think anybody's going to complain. As for the resource, if you want to learn more about investing for good, I encourage you to visit my website, growyourwealth.ca/investingforgood, and download my free report on how to reduce risk and sleep better at night by investing for good. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to experience the thrill of investing for good.